Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Here I am dancing. I don't think I should be doing that really live on social media. So, where are we? I'll tell you where we are. We are live on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitch and Twitter and X and on Clubhouse. Like, how can we be in so many places when I don't know what I'm doing and, and I don't even know who I am? Well, actually, I do. Good morning, Christian. How are you?
Good morning, morning.
Yeah, good morning, good morning, good morning. Well, it's only 6:01, I'll be honest. I'm not sure this week's started yet. I don't think I've landed. I think I'm not really here. I've not really got here yet. It's been a bit of a crazy weekend. What about yours? Were you away or were you at home?
No, no.
You're at home.
It was all right. Yeah.
Nice. You went to the football, didn't you, at one point?
Yeah, we popped out with my friends and PA. I've got things like this to work. There's no more PA as well. Yeah, we popped out and had a look at, went to a couple of games, local games. Yeah, quite pleasantly.
Well, I'm really grateful you're here, and I'm glad you're up and about, and everybody is arriving. Good morning, everybody. I think we'll get going about 5 past. We are live everywhere else, but for those that are watching, we're on Clubhouse. So if you want to come along, you're welcome. If you are watching now, please put 1. If you're watching later, then put 2. And if you want to message me, then feel free to. The amount of people that are messaging me on the back channel is just really interesting. I know that people watch us back later, Christian, and they also morning Dew. They also watch us back live on social media as well, on Facebook and on Twitch and Twitter, and they go into the YouTube channel. Do you know that we've got over 1,000 YouTube what do you call them? I don't know what they call it. Subscribers. They are. We've got over 1,000 YouTube subscribers. Can you believe? I mean, it's just fantastic, and everything that we do here goes onto there. So you can see it here, you can hear it here, you can watch it here, and you can hear it here. I mean, it's great. It also means that if later I want to see what I've done, I can go back and just realise I'm wearing all my work badges. I'm taking them off. I can listen back to what we've done. So here we go. It's all right. It's just my computer telling me it wants to save the recording from my meeting earlier. Dear me. I don't know. On social media, trying to do 3 things at once. So, happy, amazing, outstanding you day. Morning, Alexia. Let me just do that. We were getting going. We got 2 minutes to go. Oh, you're welcome to come up. There we go. There we are. There we are. We'll all be on stage. Why not? Why not make it a family affair, eh? Nouts are queer as folk. There we are. Well, what a quite good morning. How are you? You all right, James? Are you both all right? That's good. I'm glad you're
Yeah,
both.
I'm good. I'm just putting a cup of tea down.
Aye, I'm just waiting for my cup of coffee from Maureen in a minute. Okay, so tonight, just to get us caught up now, tonight we are live on social media again, but it's not our social media. Inclusion. So I'm MJ, as we know, and feel like I'm talking to people that already know me, which of course I am. I'm MJ, and for those listening back later, you are in MJ's house. I'm talking all about work, and the reason I'm talking all about work is because actually I've realised that it's very difficult to be in the UK without talking about work, really. And I don't mind which kind of work we're talking about, whether it's that we're going to work, or whether at work, or whether we're looking for work. Actually, there's not a lot of difference because looking for work takes all week. I don't know about you. I was at a thing the other day with some work coaches. That's what they're called. Work coaches. Work coaches not from Access to Work, from the job centre. They're not job coaches, they're work coaches, I think they call them. Basically, they were living in the job centre and they help people to look for work. But now they're living in other places, they're taking hubs and things, and they are starting to get out a bit. Good morning, Tony. They're starting to get out a bit. So I met them in a hub the other day, and they were saying that that people who that have incapacity benefit, those that are in receipt of employment support allowance, those that don't have workfullness at the moment, and those that are not deemed incapable for work, those that have gone through the capacity assessment. They don't have to search for work, but very soon the capacity assessment's being taken away, so we won't need a capacity assessment anymore, and that will stop the demarcation between those with a capacity assessment and those without. What that means then is that those without currently, they're searching 15 hours a week, job searching, job seeking, job attending, job, interview attending, application doing, work towards working, 15 hours a week. And for some even more, but definitely the 15 hours a week, like the supported permitted work amount, up to 16 hours a week. So they're expected to do that and evidence it. Now, I think that's great in that if they were going to get a job. I think that's great if it was all about work. I think that's fantastic if I felt that 15 hours would be worth spending. But in the main, I don't. In the main, I think it's superfluous, pointless, irrelevant, ridiculous, and nobody wants to do it. Nobody. Not the people doing it, not the people that are asking them to do it. Nobody wants to do it. And not even the employers. The employers don't want them to do it either. I was at an employment gig the other day, and Amazon are no longer working with the job centre. Why? Well, because the job centre keeps sending them these people who were meant to be job seeking for 15 hours a week when they don't want to be, and Amazon don't have a job for them, and they don't want a job with Amazon, and the job centre know that they don't, but they still want them to apply and then go for an interview for a job they're not going to take. Well, I'm not having it. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous and it's pointless and it's not helpful to anybody's well-being. It doesn't help the company because they get people applying that don't want the job. It doesn't help the person because they're applying for a job that they don't want and they're having to fib to themselves and to the employer and to the job centre. And then it doesn't help the work coach because the person they're with is applying for a job they don't want to a company they don't want to be with a person that's supporting them to do something that isn't real. So you can see why nobody wants to do that. And me especially. And I run an access to work company. I run a company that helps people. It's not the only thing it does, but it helps people through access to work. And access to work is a UK government programme to help disabled people when they have work. So you'd think, wouldn't you, that I'd want everybody to do that 15 hours a week job search, get a job, and then they can come to me and be supported, right? Well, yeah, if that was a job that they wanted. And if it was their raison d'etre, as was once said to me about my need to understand disability, is it my reason to live? Well, I need somebody to have a job that's a reason to be. Not live, perhaps, but a reason to be. Thank you, darling. A reason to be. Because actually, I don't think that coffee, I can't believe it. I'm so grateful. I can't believe that that we don't know how to work. Like, how do we not know how to work? How do we not know how to help disabled people work? How have we got an entire job centre? I realise that the job centre's for everybody. I understand that. But why is it that at Christmas, 50% of these work coaches, left? They left. They left their job. The work coaches left their job. I'll just let that land. The work coaches, they just left. They left, in my opinion, because of what they were being told. They left, in my opinion, because they know what's coming. 50% of the workforce don't just walk off for no reason. They walk off because something's happened. And I'm telling you what's happening. And I've been telling people for 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 or 15 years what's happening. Well, now it's happening. I said it was going to. I thought we'd be doing it by 2028. Well, it's much quicker than I could ever have imagined. Ever have imagined. They've literally bought into the program, but not bought into the program in the way that really works. So the program goes like this. This is the Access to Work program. This is the how we get people to go to work and not live off welfare benefits all their life until they're dead. Okay? Because actually, we can't handle it. The UK hasn't got an NHS left. It's on its knees. We really haven't got a clue about how to support people in work. And the welfare benefit system is unmanageable and unfundable. So somebody's got to do something about that work thing. Somebody, somewhere. And what's happening isn't going to work. That work thing isn't going to work. Because, like I say, half the coaches have left. Most people are searching for jobs they don't want. Applying and going for interviews to places they're not going to. And then spending their time worrying about the government coming to snoop in their bank account in case they've been and done a car boot sale, or sold stuff on Etsy, or flogged stuff on eBay, or maybe they've got a side hustle and they're selling coffee. I sell coffee. But I'm allowed to sell coffee. And I'm allowed to side hustle because I've got to the position where I don't have to rely on their welfare benefits. But I was for 30 years in a position where I did have to rely on their welfare benefits. And when I did, it altered the way that I worked. It altered the way that I looked at work, and it altered the way that I looked at income, and it altered the way that I looked at doing anything. Because I did think, oh, if I earn over £20, I'm going to lose it. So I'll go to work for a day and I'll get 20 quid. Nobody wants to give me a job for more than less than 8 hours a week. So I'm going to get, 90 quid if it's 11 quid an hour, something like that. And I'm going to get 20 of it. That doesn't seem right. They take off 60 odd quid. I'm going to lose from my benefits. That doesn't seem fair. When it's going to take an awful lot of work, like a shed load of work, for me to get off these benefits when you look at what I'm on. I had 3 disabled children. I'm disabled myself. Can you imagine the tax credit on that? Can you? Because that is the case, all right? We all know that on welfare benefits, if you've got a severe disability, you get an increment. And that increment can be quite hefty in comparison to your wage. It can. It feels nothing. But when you take it away, it feels like everything. So gathering together the amount of money that we need to live is a challenge. And the welfare benefits system in the UK is second to none. We are incredibly, incredibly lucky to have the fortune that we have in terms of our NHS, in terms of our care and support, in terms of our welfare benefit. We are a country that knows nothing about poverty in comparison to some of the rest. But this Workful thing is going to bottom that out if we don't do it properly. We can't just rip people off this welfare benefits thing. We can't just reduce the amount that they have to the point that they desperately have to go and do something. It's not going to work. All that work's not going to work. What's going to happen is that they're going to go for these jobs. They're going to be forced into something like a bowls factory. We've got somebody here, came out of where they were, went into a factory. Yeah, all right, good family, it worked. Put them with the wrong employer and really you got hell happening. The amount of people, young people that I've worked with at college who've had learning differences, and then they've been out of college and they've gone into some form of factory work, they're often abused. All right. I've got one person in inclusion who tells me that when he was in a factory, the autistic boy, I think he was autistic, was stripped naked, tied to a printer, and then covered in ink, for example. The problem is that we don't know how to get people to work. We don't just not know how to apply for the right work, but we also have absolutely no awareness of how to be at work with disabled people or with people that are differently abled or different in any way to us. So the work culture has to change before we change who's there. Or we have to get people there and change the work culture while it's there. That's a big job to do. Whilst we can't afford the welfare benefits and we haven't got the jobs to put people in and nobody knows how to deal with them when they have. Sounds a bit like rubbish, doesn't it? It sounds a bit like we don't know what to do. It sounds like we are right in the middle. Maybe the mess in the middle. Maybe this is the mess in the middle. It is the mess in the middle, and I saw it coming. We have to go from a top-down and a bottom-up perspective. Tonight at 6:30, I'm going to be talking with inclusion with the MD. It's an MD therapy centre, muscular dystrophy therapy centre. And the people that are from the MD centre want to know about work. So this is our beginning. This is the beginning of the week when we're talking all about that work. But I'm not going to go into the MD society group, whoever they are. I can't wait till tonight. I'm so excited. We're going along together and I'm not on my own. I'm taking inclusion because I'm a bit crap on my own. We're better together, right? And we're going to go and talk about workfullness. We're going to go and talk about all about that work. And these people want to know who and what and how to be with this workfullness. They're getting calls from the government. They're being told in the what do you call it? The budget. There we are. That they are helpless, hapless. They didn't really say that, but that's what they meant. Helpless, hapless, feckless, workless, wasters, useless eaters. That's what they call disabled people in Nazi Britain. Useless eaters. So those people want to know what the hell to do, and I want to help them. But the truth is that nothing's ready. The Access to Work programme that I deliver through the government isn't ready. There are people here in this room for whom they started Access to Work and didn't get what they needed. And that includes me. I have a complaint in with Access to Work currently, and they're speaking to me today because the gentleman that tried to do my renewal needs some training because he doesn't know all about that work. He doesn't know what to do with it. He doesn't know who I am. He didn't actually read my file because he hasn't got time. And so he came on the phone quite dismissive. It's not what I need. It's not who I am. And I think considering what I do, not that it matters, because it shouldn't matter whether I'm flogging an apple or I'm supporting people through Access to Work. It's workfullness. That workfullness, it needs to meet my needs, and I need my needs meeting. That's the whole point of Access to Work, is to meet my minimum needs, is to make sure that they can get me, keep me, maintain my workfullness. Now, I haven't got a problem with that. I think that pretty much all people who have any capacity in any way should have some element of workfullness, whether that's voluntary, whether that's paid, whether that's in the home, whether that's out of it, because it's good for us. So why is it all about that work? Why do I do this when I know it doesn't work? When I know that Access to Work isn't fixed? When I know that the government doesn't know what to do with disabled people? When I'm aware that their system cuts benefits? They don't cut benefits. Their system cuts benefits. That I know that when work starts, that there's always a discombobulation between who has what and what levels people are having, and therefore oftentimes through lack of communication and a failure in the system, things go wrong and people lose their money, and it's difficult to get it back. In fact, sometimes now and impossible. So I get it. I get why people don't want to raise their head above the parapet, but we have to, because the welfare benefit system is changing. We already know that. People are going to be removed from that incapacity business. That's going to be removed. The capacity assessment's being removed, and it's being coined as a good thing. But it's not. It's not a good thing. Removing the capacity assessment just means that everybody will be able to look for work for 15 hours a week, right? And they are creating, through the British Association of Supported employment, they're creating job coaches from third sector organisations at a very poor hourly rate, to help those disabled people without the capacity assessment in place. So if you think that I'm wrong, you're wrong. And if you think that people who are disabled are going to be out of the loop for talking about work, well, you're wrong. And the reason you're wrong is because we know what the government's doing. We can hear them. They're telling us now. I was telling you, and then in the budget, they told you. So at least they're honest, at least they're honouring what they're doing, and at least they're telling people now. I've known what they were doing, well, since 2003. I've been watching them, and they know it. So the reason that I run an Access to Work program in 2019, after COVID, I had double pneumonia and double pleurisy, and I was intubated and I died. Everything I had, which was a DSA, Disabled Students Allowance Service, fell around my ears. £500,000 worth of buildings, 25 staff. I thought I was going to lose my home. I had nothing. When I came to Cardiff, I had nothing. And I started a new organisation that focused on access to work, because when I applied for access to work after COVID, when I came to Wales, it took them 20 months to answer me. I'm going to leave that one there. 20 months to answer me. I ended up getting Robert Halfron, I can't remember his name. Halford. I don't think it's Halford. Halfron, I don't know. Robert, the MP, to write to Access to Work. I started what's the word? A petition with these guys on this stage. And we started a room and we said, that's enough now. We need to go to work. We've got no money. The business has folded. We've got a job. I got a job with an employer. I went and got a job. I moved to Wales. I did some more qualifications in the interim. I had to get 7 different types of qualifications. I went and got them from the NAS to meet the needs. Even though I've got a number of degrees, I still needed an extra qualification. And I went and did those really quickly as I moved to Wales and got the job. And then I waited 20 months for somebody to come and meet my needs. And I managed from home, and I managed on the kit I had, and I managed, but I didn't do well. And Jules on the stage, he heard me, and Christian. In fact, everybody on this stage probably watched me cry in the first 20 months of not being able to get any reasonable adjustments and no help. And then Access to Work started to answer, and they have speeded up all about that work. They definitely have speeded up. Now, if you've got a new job, are you ready? It's 2 weeks. We've changed it, people. We've changed it. It's 2 weeks they answer in once you get a new job. Now, if it's an existing job, they're not that bothered because you're coping right, sort of. You might not be coping very well, and it might be the end of the tether, and it might be that it's the straw that broke the camels. But you know, you're not that desperate. But new starters, 2 weeks. So now, if I'd got a job like I did 3 years ago, with the DSA company that I got the job with because I was no longer a company myself, well then it would be 2 weeks, not 20 months. So we have made changes. So it is all about that work, and we are making changes, and it can work, but it doesn't work yet. And for those in receipt of incapacity benefit, for those who have the guarantee of their welfare benefits because of their incapacity for work, they're coming. They're coming now. They're coming now. They're coming, and they're going to remove the capacity assessment. Great. Everybody will think that's great. They don't have to go to an ESA assessment and be deemed incapable. But what that means is that those 15 hours, you need to be looking for work. And in my opinion, you'd be better off being self-employed. Because back to that pointless job that it doesn't exist in a firm that you don't want to work for, doing a role that isn't really anything like your raison d'etre. Maybe you do have a reason for living to make plastic bottles. I don't know. I don't. If that's the case, if you have something greater than, or different, not greater, plastic bottles are really important. Look, I've got some. Without them, we'd be noodled. But if there's something different that you want to do before they take the capacity assessment away, and before they ask you respectfully to research jobs for 15 hours a week, which I believe is where they're going, just my opinion. You can listen to me if you want. Let's see if what I've said's come true. Well, then I'd be self-employed right now. I'd be jumping before I'm pushed. I'd be stepping up and stepping into access to work. I'd be stepping into my workfulness. I would be looking at who the hell I am and what the hell I want to do in life, because that's interesting, because running away from the government really doesn't help anybody, and it doesn't really work. And maybe, just maybe, there might be something for those 15 hours a week that you might want to do, other than look for something you don't want in a place that there isn't anything, for a position that you're not going to take up. So we're almost at past. That's 25 minutes-ish, 23 minutes of me talking about this. I'm going to hand over to other people because, we're only here till 7 o'clock and I already have 4 people on the stage. Please feel free to come up. I know that this is a subject on everybody's lips. This is a subject on everybody's minds. This is a subject that disabled people really have to get to grips with, because it is all about that work. We do have to be workful in some way, whether that's voluntary or paid. And I would much rather be orchestrating my own journey than having it orchestrated for me in its entirety. So that's me. I'm Mandy Jane, and if you want to donate to our Disabled Entrepreneurs Club, that is for our self-employed individuals, because if you're self-employed and you want access to work, just to show you how difficult it is for us, you have to make the minimum income guarantee of just shy of £7,000 in the first year. That's turnover. You have to bring in or get paid £7,000. So if you are self-employed and you're going to get paid £7,000 by somebody, you can go for it. There's no issue. If, however, you haven't and you've just got an idea, you've got to create that £7,000 in the first year. Otherwise, after the first year, access to work will be stopped, if indeed it's got started in that time, and then you are barred. Actually, as a self-employed person, you are barred for 5 years from access to work for that particular job, which is unacceptable. So that being said, we have some people on the stage. We have all 4 people on this stage have had something to do with access to work, have had some element of worklessness, have had some element of being in those workful situations that didn't suit them, have some element of having worked in multiple places, or having tried to access to work, got some help and then lost their job. So there's lots of interesting participants this morning, and I can't wait to hear from all of them. If you do want to get in touch with me, please do back channel me, message Christian as well, and oh dear, sorry about that. Let me just there we go. There we are. We had somebody spamming us. That was interesting. I've just deleted it from the chat. And if ever we do get spam like that, feel free, if you are a moderator, to get rid of it. But it was good for me to see. Even in these rooms, people are looking for quick fixes. There isn't a quick book. There isn't a quick fix. The fix is you. And the way to fix it is to join the program and to work in a way that suits you and suits the government. And that's just the fact that if you're disabled and you're doing some work, I think they'll leave you alone. So if you want to avoid the government, do it this way. Join in with them. Okay, Christian, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good start, isn't
it? Good morning, good morning, everybody. Well, here for a start off, everybody you just said. Yeah, it's. I mean, I've been through. Hang on, I've got. Can you come back to this?
Of course I can, no problem at all. Jew, good morning, good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Access to work.
I've had 2 tales with access to work. One where I did it myself and was successful. The other is working with you, and I'm gonna tell you, in between spasms, I haven't been successful, and it's taken rather a long time.
Well, you've had to go 3 times through, haven't you, Ju? 3 times. You're on the third.
Yeah.
You're on the third application.
Yeah.
Yep. Because they don't believe you can go to work. Basically.
They conflicting views.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you think about some of the ways that you've moved in the last 3 years, because you already have a business in a box. The Organo business is a business in a box. If you want to sell Organo, you just need to share a coffee with a friend, talk to your mates, and tell them about it, and you're in business, right?
Yeah.
Now, network marketing isn't something that Access to Work will support, interestingly. So things like Avon, they won't support people doing that work. However, it's my opinion that that kind of work is a really good start to workfulness. I think sharing a coffee as a disabled person, not a difficult thing to do, right?
Not at all.
And the ordering system is actually, now I've learned it, although I've had to sit along with you and learn it, the ordering system is easier than I thought, actually. I'm getting good at it, aren't I?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting good at it because I practiced it. Took me a while, but I reckon if you're starting with a coffee business that's next to now to join, and you're sharing it with your mates and you're learning it on the back channel whilst you're in receipt of your benefits, and they're not allowing it for Access to Work, well then that's a pretty safe thing to do, because nobody's going to get you. Nobody's going to force you off work. Nobody's going to force you into Access to Work. Nobody's going to make you come off your welfare benefits. But you're going to be learning a business in a box. You're going to be learning how to sell product. You're going to be learning how to manage the back channel, which is your office. And you're going to be starting an income stream. And eventually then, Access to Work will be interested in it, because once it's income, they're interested in it, right? Well, not Access to Work, the government. So I think, because Access to Work aren't interested in you if you're a network marketer, which again is another thing that needs to change, because we have some network marketers in Accessibility Partners who are bringing in £10,000 a month. I'm just going to say that again. £10,000 a month. So I think network marketing is all about their work. And I also think that you had a job, you got Access to Work when you were working at that major place that sold lots of things to businesses on a warehouse situation. You were a warehouse manager or whatever, and they got you travel, but actually you ended up not being able to continue with your job, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, so Access to Work didn't really maintain your Access to Work, did it? Not really. No. Whereas if maybe they'd pivoted and decided to help you be self-employed at home, as you couldn't continue to work in the business, that would have maybe continued your workfulness. I honestly am tonight, 6:30. I've got some hints and tips and tricks for employers and employees in how to get work, how to maintain work, how to develop their workfulness when they are severely disabled. And I'm looking forward to that 6:30. Are you coming, Ju?
Where?
I'll send you the link. It's a Zoom link, so you'll be able to get in.
Okay.
And Christian, you've got it, haven't you? You can share it with you, can't you?
Yeah.
Amazing. And Alexia and James, please do come tonight and share the stage with me as we are talking to the MD group, if you can.
Yeah, I'll do my best.
Oh, I know it's late though. I know that. Good morning.
Good morning. I had a good test yesterday with the NHS. I suddenly, Saturday night, I sat down after doing after our conversation, a bit of fresh air in the garden, and I had some swelling come up on my leg. And it got worse and worse till my toes were going blue.
Ooh.
And it's like, oh crikey, it's now Sunday. I can't get to the local hospital. The only way I can do it is by ringing 111.
Oh.
And I have to say, they were brilliant, because I text Daniel and I said, I don't know where I'm going to end up. I don't know what's going to happen. And much to my surprise, because I rang them it must have been about 8:30 in the morning, because this started at night. I was literally walking around the bedroom saying, I don't want to offend anybody, but God, please, can somebody take this itching and this swelling away, because I'm going to go mad. And I have been in nursing, and I'm very much a natural person, so I tried every trick in the book I knew, but my feet were so swollen I couldn't hardly get anything on my feet. And by that time, it had started to move up both legs. And my, if anyone's ever seen anybody with blood poisoning, sometimes one of the symptoms is that the skin swells. It's so taut that it's rigid, and that's what had happened to my skin. And I rang 111 up, and it was after a long phone call. And I thought, oh, I really don't want to have to go to hospital with this, but I might have to. They now have a secondary service where, with certain things that they think they can deal with without you actually having to go to hospital if you can't get there yourself. And I don't keep my fold-away scooter charged all the time. So maybe that was a lesson I learned from that one. But then I wouldn't have had a bus service anyway. And I wasn't in a fit state to have managed to get it onto public transport, even if I could have got it. But it was a knock on my door, and they come round with an ambulance car. They were with me for, I'd guess, I don't know, at least an hour and a half. They were quite shocked. We all agreed that we don't know. It was some kind of allergy I'd got, but we don't know what it is. And I am a lot better today, but let's say I'm not right. I still got a lot of swelling, but at least I can get some on my feet now. But I brought this up because I want people to realise that disabled people still keep working even when something goes wrong, which I've been an employee, been an employer. A lot of what we call fit people, when they've got a problem, they take time off. If you're an employer, to some degree, you're not infallible, but as with what happened with MJ. Everything when she ended up in hospital and died 4 times because of COVID, they just assumed she wasn't going to survive in government wisdom and shut everything down. Well, I'm not right today, but I'm still sitting here, as my job is now as a writer, writing my blog, because I wasn't in a fit state to write it yesterday because of the medication they gave me. It knocked me out, and they said, no, you can't go out and get secondary medication yourself. So I had to get Daniel's dad to go out, because he's the only car driver that we have, and bless him, he did turn up with medication for me yesterday afternoon. But I want people to realise that disabled people have this drive that they don't stop. MJ didn't stop when she lost everything she built up. I've gone through the same story with Ford, building everything up from scratch. But every journey starts with one step. And unfortunately, as good as our systems are, sometimes there seems to be more barriers than answers. And to some degree, that's what happened yesterday, because obviously ringing 111, I got somebody and they're trying to ask questions. But as I said to the ambulance people yesterday, not actually being able to see the problem, you're doing a bit of guesswork, which is what happens to a degree when we work with Access to Work and DSA. They're not disabled people. And having a disabled member in the family is not actually the same as being disabled. And it took MJ a long time to convince me I'm disabled. Because I was brought up when I had to work around everybody else's system, not them try to help me. But if I don't make it this evening, I only brought that up because I wanted you to know why. Because I am feeling quite wiped out today, having spent the night before.
Get to bed. Listen, it doesn't matter whether you're there or not. Whether you're there or not, you'll be there in spirit. And you've been here this morning whilst I've started to explore the subject, because you know how important it is, this bit. Honestly, Alexia, thinking about thinking. They call it pre-contemplative. It's when you think, you contemplate something before you do it. And that sounds like a lack of logic there. Well, why wouldn't you think about it? But these rooms give me the focus to be able to, and being live on social media gives me the focus to be able to think through what I'm going to be talking about. Because I've been doing this, I mean, Alex is 32 now. So I've been dealing, I mean, I was disabled anyway, but really disability smacked me in the face once I realised that actually my kid was going to be affected. I've always been affected, but when my kid was affected by this stuff, that was when I really honed in on it, right? I think if you've got, it wouldn't have mattered if it had been our Lucky or our Alex, frankly, whether it was my dog or my kid. It's the focus on the person that I love. That's when I focused. Now, when I met you, the thing about not showing you you're disabled, but the reason I wanted you to acknowledge all of your experiences is because I knew what was there, and I knew that you'd muddled through with that guessing bit, and that you'd guessed all the way through, and you'd guessed that there wasn't a lot out there, and you didn't have any of it.
Yeah, no, I didn't. No, and
mad.
It is bad when I actually, because one of the things is, and let's be grateful for what we do have in this country.
Yes.
And what we have in this group.
Yes.
Because Marie, I contacted her by mistake yesterday when I had to ring Daniel, and as soon as she was on the phone, and you were on Saturday, and that was before that. Actually, funny enough, it was almost like a premonition. In a way, almost.
Oh, that's weird, isn't it? Because I said, are you in hospital?
Yeah, exactly. You know, that was the argument, whether they actually took me to hospital or not. And I said, no. I said, look, I am a nurse. I'm not silly. I will come back to you if I need that help.
Yeah.
I won't be silly and try and battle it through.
No, but I'm glad. Listen, whatever happens tonight, you're here today, and you've been here through this journey. That's the thing, Alexia. Every step you take, right through DSA, getting your dyslexia assessment, getting your EduPsych report, accessing your disabled students allowance, accessing your access to work, attending to your attendance allowance, all those things that are happening, your care and support, the things that you need, all the things because of, you were born with polio, right? Well, you had polio as a child, and you've been born without joints. Like they're not even there. So the fact that you didn't think you're disabled is interesting. But I'm not saying you are. I'm saying the fact that you didn't recognise it is interesting. But then, if you didn't recognise it, right, you didn't ask for what you were entitled to, then, right? So
but even when I did ask,
true.
The thing is, if you don't
you
ask
did, didn't you? Yeah,
true. In the right order.
Yeah, no, you don't. It goes wrong. It
exactly. Does. The answer you get back is, and it's one word answer. No.
It's true. It's true. There is a way to it. There is a system to the system, and of course they don't. Well, there is. They don't know how to. They don't tell you about it, and then they expect you to dance around in it. Like what?
Yeah.
How? I don't understand. They wouldn't give you Monopoly and not give you any instructions, would they?
No.
I don't know how they think you're going to play the game if they don't give you the damn instructions for it.
Exactly. But if somebody wants something to really make them think, it's not everybody, but there are going to be people listening to this recording who've probably followed The Secret. Yes. If you want a real secret and you want to make it work for you, it's taking the first step, being consistent and keeping going.
That's it. Honest, that's the secret. We could have sold it a million times, couldn't we? Take the first step, be consistent, and keep going. Like really, you've just nailed it. You've nailed it in three in three statements.
Because of the way I feel this morning, I didn't write my blog yesterday. And actually, the picture I've got is deliberately out of focus because that's very often how we are. I've called it, why am I using a picture that's out of focus? Because very often that's what we are, is out of focus. Instead of breaking it down into small steps, I'm the earth healer. I can't solve the problem of the earth, but every step I take can make a difference.
Oh, thank you.
Everybody else's.
That's so powerful for me this morning because my day yesterday was a right car crash.
But you and I together.
I got loads done, but it was just so discombobulated. And I got up this morning and thought, I'm not sure I'm ready for the day. I think I'm just kind of falling into this day. But do you know what? There was just for a split second. There was a split second that I went, well, it's all right. I don't have to do that room if I don't want to. No, I don't. But do you know what? By not doing it, I wouldn't have had my pre-contemplation. I wouldn't have pre-thought about what I was doing tonight. And I wouldn't feel so secure tonight that I've already thought about the beginning of what I want to share. And that's the point. Thinking about thinking or thinking about what we're doing or planning, all of those things that you didn't do that blog yesterday, but you are going to today. I know you are.
Oh, I've nearly written it.
There you go.
Just the last bit of it. Well, with the dyslexia, I have to read it about half a dozen times.
Oh, you are severely dyslexic. I'm gonna gloat a bit. I'm gonna gloat just right now, just this minute. I haven't done this before. For 3 years. But when I met you, I knew how severely dyslexic you were. I told you how severely dyslexic you were. I read how severely dyslexic you were, and then we evidenced how severely dyslexic you were.
I wish we could do a video now, and we were actually that might be the first one to do. When
we get together,
get organised, and we do these videos, it's me trying to fill in that first DSA.
Oh, the thing is, I can't actually believe that anyone went through school. I just don't know how these teachers did it. I mean, I met you the first time and I'm like, we really need a dyslexia assessment now, Alexia. You're like, nah. No, really. What do you mean you've written a book? Come here now.
I've written 3 now. I'm doing the 4th. I've got about another half a dozen in my head.
3 years. No, I'm not disabled. And no, I'm not dyslexic.
2 years of
2 years.
university.
2 years
How
in
the heck did I
university.
get into that?
It's incredible. And you are severely, if we had to look at the severity of the dyslexia, the spectrum, you are really at one end of the difficulty with what they call phonological processing. Like really, the auditory processing that you've got is very challenged. But the thing is, look what you're doing. Look at how you are overcoming it with all of the help and support and the equipment and the software that you've got. I mean, DSA, although DSA is not fit for purpose, disabled students allowance. If anyone in this world that's listening to this has a child with ADHD, autism, eating disorder, mental health condition, any sort of challenge, for goodness sake, don't let them go into university education without some support, even though that support's very difficult to get and not particularly fit for purpose. At least get the support that you can get. And if they're going to do some workfulness at the same time, come to us, because actually, if work and education go together, then they're peas in a pod. They really should be together. We should be doing some application of our learning, particularly if we're neurodivergent. When we apply our learning, it works.
Say this here, but I'm going to,
Go
because I
on.
want people to realise, having been a nurse, I'm now on the other side of the system. I now work as part of Health Watch, which is a voluntary thing. But you're discussing where money sometimes is going, what can be done to help people, what we can't do, because every area is different.
Yep.
This is what people don't realise. They think one cover fits all. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
That's what disability is. It's not one cover fits all. Today I'm having a really challenging day for obvious reasons. But you can still adapt, you can still change. There's always an answer to doing something, whether you do it for 10 minutes instead of an hour.
Exactly.
Or whether you do it in some different form.
Broken yoga, I call it. Broken yoga. It's the only yoga I can do. I can put my head behind. I can put my leg behind my head. It's just that I can't get on the floor.
I was for obvious reasons yesterday. My legs were so swollen I couldn't do any exercise at all.
No.
But even it's not so bad today. So I've done my stretching, my exercise. I've been down on the floor.
Wow.
If more people did those simple things, particularly older people, then when they have a fall, they'd be able to get off the floor. I can remember when you first started to go in the pool in the flats where you were. But well, you can only use it if you can get yourself out. And I can remember you saying, use my language, how the hell am I going to get myself in the pool? How am I going to get myself out? You don't even think about it now.
I was stuck. I sat there and I was like, wow. I'm not sure. I think we might have to ring somebody. It's because I've got the strength in my arms now. I can lift myself up onto the side, but I couldn't. I had to drag myself over like a stranded seal. Yeah. It's every step, those baby steps, getting in the pool. I've got video of me in the pool, and I am I think I'm probably about. Maybe, I think it was quite a lot of stones heavier. I can't remember how many. Quite a lot of stones heavier. And working out how to get that body out of the pool was not easy. It wasn't. But the more I did it, the more I could do it. So yeah, I remember that
great
too.
Description. You were like a seal out of water.
I was. That's exactly what I was like. But I could do it now. But, that's because, look at that. Thank you, James. That's what I was doing on the side.
They're making me smile.
I know. It makes me smile as well. I needed it as well.
Yeah.
Chris,
that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I don't feel like it.
No.
Let's be truthful.
That's why I'm here.
But by coming together, the power of coming together, which is what we do.
It is. Then we change the game, don't we?
Yeah,
we change the game.
How we think, we change how we feel.
Yeah, and we pre-contemplate our day. So if you want to pre-contemplate your day, you should be at MJ's house, because we're going to be doing this at 6:30 tonight with the MD group. If you want the link, Christian's got it. If you don't want the link, that's fine. We're going to be babbling on.
I'm planning on coming
endlessly.
just if I fall on the. Don't very often do that, but
No,
I just
have a
thought I'd
kip.
warn you in case I do fall by the wayside, fall asleep or something. But if somebody cares to ring me up and say, "Oi," sleep.
If you want waking up, we can wake you, but I don't want to wake you if you're having a kip. Christian, are you around?
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's all right. You okay?
Yeah, fine. It was one. The fact of having one fully working hand overcame me there. I was just trying to move something, couldn't do two things at once. But I want to tell you a secret.
Oh,
everybody, everybody a secret. Practice to work. That's a secret. I'll tell you for why. I'll tell you why. Because she said I popped out with Carl at the weekend, as we do, and met somebody. Met a chap whose son had cerebral palsy. And we were just asking, we were just chatting generally what we should do. And he was worried about his Saturday, to be honest. And he was talking about his son. He was concerned about his son. His son's still at school, and so as I tend to do, the conversation got around to what I do now. And I told him about his work. His jaw hit the floor. His jaw. What?
And his son's got CP. And his son's got CP.
And he didn't know anything about it. He was a intelligent, articulate. He was not that you know what I mean.
I do.
He had no idea about it. Absolutely not a clue. And that's the problem. And I didn't before I met you.
No, true.
I didn't know about it.
Neither did Alexia. Yeah, well, Jew did. Jew knew, but Jew's the only one, I think.
Yeah. And this is ridiculous. This is a system.
Oh, that's funny though, because the 1 in 5 knew about it. Out of the 1 in 5, only 1 in 5 knew about it.
But it's stupid. It's ridiculous. It should be. You literally should. Not that you get a joining pack when you. but you know what I mean?
I do actually, like a passport. Here, this is what you are, and this is what you can get in this country. You human.
Well, we do, and it's called benefits letters. Benefits letters should say on them that there should be a leaflet in each one that says, right, okay, this is what here is the situation you find yourself in. Should you want, and I don't mean we should force anybody either.
No.
But should you want, should you, then this is available. This is available. Please. I mean, you've only got to point to a website these days. It's not.
It's not rocket. You could put a QR code on it, couldn't you?
Exactly. It's like the old world days when somebody actually had to.
We could put a QR code and just tag everywhere, couldn't we? Should we just tag the world with a QR code for access to work?
But that is the main thing we've got. As you said earlier, we've done wonderful things thanks to and who's not here at the moment, but Robert Halfon.
Absolutely.
And we got the timing down to literally. They always come back now before you send the forms, and that's it. But it's no good. Any of this, it's no good if nobody knows about it. It's and I really honestly cannot quite compute how you can how the government can have a scheme. Well, that's not true. It literally got out there. It literally disabled people this way, right? But as you said to Alexia, she didn't think she had a disability, and we don't want, to, but there's got to be a little bit of realism of okay, you're in this position. That's all it is, and it's not forcing. It's just saying okay, right? Okay, this is where you find yourself. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, this is where we're at.
Yeah, this is where you find yourself, and therefore, if you would like to, there are, and it doesn't matter whether it's paying capacity, whatever they call it now, not DLA, the other one, it's got that my head.
PIP, personal independence
PIP, that's the
payment,
one. That's the one.
or attendance allowance, or DLA.
Yeah, attendance allowance, DLA, or
They're all the same animal.
Yeah, these are the things that you can claim. These are the things that you are legally entitled to, basically, which really comes down to.
Completely.
You're legally entitled to. Now, if so, here's this, if you want to, and if you would like, work, and here's this, just lay it out. That's all I need to do. And it's for the benefit of the people that it's been sent out. I know what we do for work, so if anybody out there telling me they're just happy, no, it's not that. It's just literally that if people don't know about it, they're not going to use it. Now, you could argue that that's maybe a ploy, but I couldn't possibly say that live on social media. Could you, Andrew?
No, I would never say that. I wouldn't suggest the government was trying to. No. Can't bring the government into disrepute now, can I?
No, couldn't. So, yeah, that's the thing. If you go into business, nobody expects anybody to be in business not knowing their market, not knowing their customers, not knowing what they're selling, what they're etc.
Exactly.
With a pick, but with the disabled people, and this is only just formed properly, but the disabled people expect us to go into life not knowing our pitch, not knowing our really.
Yeah,
they do, and it starts to slightly wind me up, so I'll stop in a minute.
It winds me up as well.
This is ridiculous. People just need the tools. You can see the people on this stage. That everybody, no matter what situation they're in, will move forward and will do wonderful things, as long as they're given the support and but most of all, the information to go to do it. That's what you need, is the information. And if you haven't got the information, if you don't know it's there, now I thought it was just me. I thought maybe I missed something. I missed that day in life when that's what was out. But the more and more people like me, the more people who look at me and go, what? Well, pardon.
I know.
It's sort of the attitude. There's a little website with our website that I can go to, and you'll really, and it doesn't cost me
anything. Yeah, it doesn't cost me directly anything. It doesn't cost me anything. Yeah.
And it will do what? And if it doesn't work, then we'll also work out the benefit of it. So people need to know, because we're not selling. We're not selling. Anything. We're not selling some sort of, I'm trying to say, mystical power from the east. We're just telling and helping people to access what they're entitled to and what they've been entitled to since the first time they got their benefits letter.
Absolutely.
So that's
and of course, and of course, the craziest thing about it all, Christian, for me, is the fact that we're the only organisation that's doing it from the day that people apply. Everybody else waits until the money's in the bank, the award's there, and then they'll coin it in. Fine, that's up to them how they want to play it. But unfortunately, that's not the way that we play it for everybody else, because I believe that we all deserve this information. You, Alexia, James, me, everyone, and everyone's kid, right? If you've got a kid and they've got a challenge, you want your kid, as I talked about Alex 32 years ago. I've been scrapping this system. I was terrified when Alex was diagnosed and I was told he was going to be non-verbal and he was this and that and autism. I'd never heard of the word. I didn't even know what that meant, but I knew he was bright. I was papping my pants 32 years ago, 25 years ago. I was papping my pants. I didn't think he would have a life. I didn't know what I was going to do with him, and nobody told me, and I had to go and find out for myself, like that poor man with the kid with cerebral palsy. It's not fair, and it's not right, and it's not cricket, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, it's ridiculous. That was what was it.
We need to stop whinging now. I think we sound like
Yeah, we
two
do.
old
I'll
women
tell you
now,
what.
don't we? We're like two old women.
Well, I'll
James.
tell you what, they
Oh, go on.
want us to stop whinging.
What?
They stop us whinging. But anyway, I'm sorry.
It's dead easy, isn't it? They could start paying the bill. That's what they could do. Anyway, that's me not whinging anymore. James, are you there or are you running away? We're at 7 o'clock already. And I think we need to finish with our James, who's been just making me smile all the way long. Hey, good morning.
Good morning. I'm not running away anywhere. I'd spill my coffee, and that would not be nice.
I've drunk mine.
Just like somewhere I was not so long ago, a few years ago. But I'm not going to go down that brown dark hole because it was pretty crap there. And I was tasting a good cup of coffee this morning because when you started, I was on the green tea, and now I've got my big blue Grand National mug.
I didn't know cordyceps.
Which is rather royal.
I didn't know cordyceps goes through the blood-brain barrier almost instantly. I didn't know that the cordyceps in your green tea goes through the blood-brain barrier through the mouth almost instantly. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
It's fast. I know that within minutes of having it, first hour I don't have any. I have just water, filtered water, and then suddenly I'm on all the brews then all day. I will once a day have a cup of English tea with a bit of milk in it, but I know you don't do dairy. But
don't do dairy.
I just once a day because I know when I get my mum's, it's tea galore. Although she does have a sample of boxes, but she's like, my mum counts everything, so she's a bit of an accountant really on the cost front. But we got an order in yesterday, which is nice. So when that comes, they might need. It's getting close now to be starting to think about having forklift trucks for my orders because there's a couple of things. There's a couple of things in the background for me which look like I might need that soon. So once this latest bicycle is together. And I've just got the postage rack at the front. I've just got that and its paint colour test done. I'm really happy with it because all the kids around here seem to have these really matte black dartboard wall colours, and that's quite dangerous. That because the light doesn't reflect off it; it absorbs into the metal. But everyone seems to have matte coloured bicycles at the moment. But I'm going to book the trend here, and I've got iridescent black. So literally, a torch hits it, or the sunlight, it just goes ping, like a bit like your Romeo and your with that surround colour you've got on today this morning, and obviously your Da Vinci as well. That's got a lovely colour tone to it. So. Yeah, I've moved on from the dark places where I was at in the past because they weren't working for me. They didn't want me to work for them, and that's their choice. That they have that toxic environment there, how they pollute people with their views. They're entitled to do that, but not at my health. Not at my health, and at the moment. Due to the fall that I had, which is only a lesson in life, I'd not eaten before I went to the gym, and obviously I'd not quite got the morning routine off to a T that morning. I had a cup of tea and I had a coffee because that happens every day. That's a non-negotiable. You've got to hydrate, and I did hydrate. I just didn't have the correct energy levels, and then the heat in the sauna just wiped me out and I hit the deck. But I bounced back up from that now because literally on Saturday I was in the gym for the safety assessment.
Wow.
And I only did a couple of machines, but I did the two that I was like, she's not going to put me on those. That was what my head was saying all the time. And she did. And this lady there, she's brilliant because she did the leg program for me about a year ago. And I tell you what, I was walking like an ape for about 3 or 4 days. And I don't mind that because I know that in a few more days' time, you evolve like the ape did. And I did man up eventually. Sorry to use quite a bad swear word there, really. I don't like using that, but I'm using it in the funny pretense. I am moved forward now, and everybody at the NHS, I've just got to raise this beautiful blue mug to those people, because the support that they have given me when they are quite ostracised, if you look at certain media channels out there. And I don't think that's fair for all what they've done over the last few years. They certainly, thank goodness, they made the right choices with you in the end, darling, because the world certainly is a much better place for our team and what we do. And I just do a little bit of cycling for you guys. I did take one of them cycling lanyards and a couple of chipped mugs. So I will soon be ordering you 2 new mugs in colours, because I bloody chipped them at that weekend. I couldn't believe it. So I'm going to get those orders. But I found for you a coconut washing thing. It's a wire brush, wooden handle, and it's the only thing on earth that can get into the bottom of them flasks.
Fantastic.
So next time I'm at the upcycling shop, lovely Polish people in Lee run it. When I get up there for my sourdough, I'll be thinking, but I think I'm going to change that order, because I've got a family ceremony that I don't really want to attend to on Friday. But that gentleman, I'll put him to rest, and he'll be where he wants to be. So I've got to alter my mindset to understand that he's now where he wants to be.
Yeah.
And I will.
I'm sorry for your loss.
I've worked hard at focusing upon this, because I know I'll once I do a bit of tidying up, I should hopefully get Auntie Janet's mug back, and that'll be a nice kiss from my association with Pete and everyone.
You know what? You're tough.
One of them elite mugs. Oh yeah, I'll move forward from this, definitely.
You're amazing. I'm sorry for your loss, and I know it's been hard.
Well, it's also that I had a loss a couple of years ago when I've worked all my life and only ever had about 6 to 8 weeks when I got made redundant, where I got jumped through a couple of jobs, and they all kept bouncing me off, because they were just the choices that some employers are and how they work in the world, and that's their choice. But they will have what we call a revolving door at the front entrance, and they won't use Toyota-based management systems where they keep older gems. What they do is they just keep churning out, and all that's going to do is put more pressure on them there at the top.
Absolutely.
So I suppose that's where it rolls back downhill towards them. And that's quite deep and dark, the brown stuff, isn't it? I must remember to flush my toilet in a minute.
Well, thank you, James. You are always explanatory, and the thing is, I don't know what you're going through, but I'm aware that what you're going through right now is not easy, and I think that's the same for all of us. I'm just going to close right now. I'm going to work in a couple of minutes. I'm setting off for the local authority. It's what I have to do during the day and the day job at the moment. Halfway through my placement, training to be a social worker, but I run Accessibility Partners, and we also run Inclusion. The reason that we have the charitable arm that created the Entrepreneurs Club is because the government aren't fair. They aren't respectful, and they aren't honourable to disabled people, yet they want us to go to work. So they're going to have to learn how to help us go to work, and they're going to have to provide the requirements for that to happen. In order that we're fair and equitable, reasonable adjustments are necessary. All workplaces should be affording them. It's not an access to work job, reasonable adjustments, it's an employer's job. Now, Access to Work have now made the employer even more responsible for access to work, in that they have to contribute 20% towards their disabled employees. Now, I have 100% disabled employees, which means that as an organisation that works for disabled people, with disabled people, by disabled people, I now have to contribute 20% of my workforce adjustments that are funded by the government. So I now have a 20% stakehold in the fact that people going to work need to be funded, and they need to be supported, and it needs to be efficient, because I'm paying 20% of that inefficiency route, and I no longer will. It was not, I was not a stakeholder until I had a 100% employee run, disabled employee business, but now I am. Whether I had 1% or 100%, it matters not. I'm now 20% paying 20% of their grant. I have to contribute to the government. So not only am I paying VAT, which of course I pay in advance, and I pay VAT on everything. I pay VAT on everything for disabled people, because everything for disabled people is VAT free unless it's to do with work. So it's a VAT man job. So they get the VAT from me then, and then they get 20% from me for every disabled employee, and I'm a 100% disabled employee. It used to be £1,000 or 20% contribution. Now it's 20%. The first £1,000 or 20%. So 20% of, and the maximum 66 grand is, well, you can work that out, right? And that's what I'm having to contribute. So it's an expensive job having disabled employees now. Of course, it's a tax write-off as well, so that 20% can go against my tax, but that really isn't the point. The point is that I shouldn't be heading and funding and creating disabled employees in the UK, but we're having to do. So now I do have to speak all about that work on account of the fact that it's costing me all of that money, and it's costing you all of that money as well, because whether we are working or whether we're not, it's costing us, all right? And that's why it's everybody's agenda. We are just better together. We're talking about work again at 6:30 tonight, online with the muscular dystrophy hub, and we're going to be talking about hints and tips and tricks for employers, employees and disabled people about Workfullness in the UK. If you want that link, give us a shout, either myself or Christian, who's here on stage with me at Clubhouse. If you want to go online, I'll just pop that on the bottom of this screen if I can remember where it is. If you want to know about Access to Work, you need to go there. That's number two, you can see it, access to work.me, access to work me, just access to work me. If you want to donate to the Disabled Entrepreneurs Club, it is scrolling underneath. And remember, that's a disabled person who's self-employed, who needs to make the minimum income guarantee in the first year of just shy of 7 grand, or they get barred from Access to Work for 5 years. We plan to create hundreds of disabled entrepreneurs, and the first one is going to be crowned on the 4th of July in Sunderland. The event has changed space. We are in Rise Disability, I think Disability Rise. It's the expo moved to Sunderland because of difficulties. I wouldn't have liked to have been them. So on the 4th of July, on Independence Day, funnily enough, it got changed to Independence Day, American Independence Day. We'll be crowning the first disabled entrepreneur in Sunderland. So in the north, from a northerner, probably to a northerner, I would imagine, in Sunderland, the first disabled entrepreneur on the 4th of July is going to be crowned. And that application process will be starting at the beginning of May. So there will be an application process starting in the beginning of May, and we will have until July to make that decision. And on the 4th, on Independence Day, the first disabled entrepreneur will be crowned and be given that £10,000 award. That's nearly 7 grand, the minimum income guarantee, and then the rest of it in their strategy coping support, which is what we provide free at point of delivery and accessibility partners. So you don't have to be a disabled entrepreneur to get that. You just need to apply to w.me, and you will get that strategy coping support if you have a disability and you have workfulness. You've got to be over 16 or over, have 1 hour of paid work a week, or become self-employed, and have a disability. They're the only reasons that you need, and you can come to see us about that. Then if you also want to join in with us, actually, then I've done that wrong. That's not right. I'm gonna have to change that. I have to take that off. It's not inclusion.me, it's inclusion.gg. So we'll just take that off, because I'm a failure in that I've done it wrong. I don't even know where I put it now. There we go. Yeah, I'm wrong. It's inclusion.gg. not .me, but they rhyme, right? Because we're all playing a good game. Whether or not we know what game we're playing right now, because I haven't even got the right ending for that website, is another thing. But we have landed in Monday tonight. We're with the MD group, if you want to come, and of course on Saturday then we are in Belonging in Business at 8 o'clock again, and we'll be talking all about that work for the whole of the week. In different ways and different iterations, because every time I think about it, talk about it, and then turn it round again, a different story comes out. Always an interesting one. So if you want to be around tonight, see you at 6:30. We've gone on a bit longer. You've been in MJ's house, and tonight we won't be in inclusion at 7 o'clock because we're going to be with the MD group. But what I think I'm going to do is open up the inclusion room at 6:30. Probably 6 o'clock, actually. Probably open up the inclusion room, have a bit of a pre-contemplation at 6 o'clock, and then at 6:30 we'll jump over to the MD group, just like we do normally. We'll just make it an hour earlier, so we'll stick to our routine, but we'll go and join in with somebody else because we are better together. Okay, so have an absolutely fantabulous day. It's been me, it's been us. We are Inclusion, and this evening we're with the Muscular Dystrophy organisation. So if you've had a good time here, go look on the back channel, go look on the back catalogue. There are thousands of hours for you to go and listen to. Some people listen to it on a weekend now. When they don't have the weekend of Inclusion, they listen to it on a weekend. It's fantastic. I love it. I am very grateful to you all. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being you. I'm going to say bye-bye. Take care.